And thank you so much. Really, I'm excited to be able to share a perspective of why, as you mentioned, there's over 1,000 doctors that are part of the field distributor force. Why is that? It's something because every doctor that takes an oath, we have an oath to first do no harm. And second is that we take a legal and ethical oath to do everything within our power to help our patients. And that is, once we get educated on something, the ethical responsibility is on us to share that information. And what I found out about Protandim, and it wasn't even called Protandim the Nrf2 Synergizer when I found out about it. In fact, nobody was even using the words Nrf2 at the time. It was just Protandim is the remedy for oxidative stress. And because of my background in chiropractic and being a radio show host, I needed to find a way to explain what this was to people that asked me. And I mean, I knew what it was, and I want to kind of go back. That the science is what really caught my attention, and how during that 12 years of becoming, or 12 years of being very jaded against network marketing, I used PubMed as my ally. So when somebody would come in from some company, and chiropractors it was almost like some days I felt like I had a bullseye on the front of my shirt that said, go market to this guy, because especially a successful chiropractor that sees lots of patients, is going to get hit up by a network marketing company that has anti-aging or wellness-based products of any kind. It has been that way historically. And so when somebody would come in with a product and say, this is the greatest thing, I think it would really help your patients, which was their approach. Most of them, to their credit, would say that they wanted to help my patients, but that I could make a lot of money doing so. And I wasn't looking to make money. I was looking to spend time with my kids, and nobody ever came with that approach. But when they would say they had a great product, I would get behind, would actually even invite, this is in the beginning phases. Let me just paint the picture. When I was open to being helped by network marketing companies because they sounded really good, they sounded very compelling, and they had great products, or at least they sounded like they were great products, I would invite them behind my desk, and I already had PubMed was saved. This was before I was an Apple guy. This was back when I was a PC guy, but don't hold that against me. But I had PubMed saved, and I would open it up and say, how do you spell the product? And I would type the name of the product in there, hit enter, and every single time for 12 years, 3 words would come back: no results found. So my simple response to them is like, wow, it sounds like your product is great. However, the people that I look to validate products don't think as highly of it as you do. There's no science behind it. And imagine if I were your doctor and I said, you should really take this product because the lady who came in yesterday who gave me this brochure said it's amazing. I think you would probably run. You should run to go find another doctor if I came at you with that approach. I can't leverage my reputation. I can't leverage my goodwill in my community on selling something that you say is great, especially when there's no science to back it up. And their response was, but it's got cinnamon in it, and cinnamon has lots of research, or it's got XYZ, fill in the blank. So it was borrowed research. Yes, ingredient-based research, there is some merit there. But if you put one ingredient in a product and now it's a compound product, it doesn't mean it's going to be good, even if it has an ingredient that said it's great. So there was never any finished product science. And there's a massive distinction between ingredients science and finished product science. And so that was always the way to have them leave my office. And I would always tell them, when this changes, when you do have a finished product study, come back. I would love to try the product myself and maybe perhaps share it with my patients. So it was always a great way to politely ask someone to leave, the ones who ignored the no soliciting sign in the first place. A couple people I had to call security on. But that was, as a doctor, I had a moral obligation, an ethical obligation, and in my opinion, a professional obligation to share what I knew about LifeVantage. And that was nothing except about Protandim. So when my patients would come in and I would assess them and find out what it was going on, I would send them to GNC to go buy Protandim because of my experience on it. Well, then we got to be where they were having a problem keeping up with inventory. And interestingly enough, it was right about the time I got a call from Blue Elam, who is my sponsor in this business, and tried to share some information about this wonderful Ayurvedic product. He was marketing it as an Ayurvedic product, and he, as a firefighter at the time, didn't even know what that meant. But I said, no, and I said, what is it? And he said, Protandim. And I said, no, it's not. And he said, yes, it is. And I said, no, it's not. I've been taking Protandim for months. It's not Protandim. And he said, yes, it is. And that's when I was like, you got to be kidding me. They're going to backdoor me into this network marketing thing. and I was livid. And they sent me a plane ticket. I flew to corporate headquarters. I had lunch with Dr. McCord and asked him directly about the product, which I didn't know there was any science. I didn't typically look for that kind of product because it wasn't the network marketing sold product at the time. It was at GNC, and it was helping me personally. And so I had some patience on it. Well, this is where everything changed. When I sat with Dr. McCord, I understood the vision of where LifeVantage wanted to go. And I had a moral obligation and ethical obligation to share with everyone about the merits of this product. I came back a different person. I came back distributor number 114 in the entire company. And a year later, I sold my practice because I looked at the size of what I was doing in my practice. We were helping 350 to 500 patients a week, only in my town and only when my office hours were open. And every single minute my office was open was a minute away from my family. And so I had a huge vision, but I had limitations to my vision. We'll call it golden handcuffs. And I had the ability, and here was the interesting thing. Patients who could benefit from my services sometimes couldn't afford it because this was right at 2009, 2010. The economy was starting to go down and people were losing their jobs. And if you don't have money to benefit from care, you don't partake of that care. And so I looked at the reality of I have this amazing opportunity to help people financially and help people with their health, which that's already my wheelhouse, but I can do it with a team of people that this is going to go global. We were only in the US at that time. And I thought, and I prayed about it, and it met every one of my criteria because it has product-based science, great people at the time where more people are needing these types of products than ever before in recorded history. And more people are needing a financial hand up than ever before in recorded history. And this looked like the best amalgam of things for me. So a year later, sold my practice and have been a stay-at-home dad ever since. And the difference is my office overhead was $23,000 a month. And this overhead is minimum. I think you should look at it from a minimum of 200. But if you quickly add up all the products that benefit you, it's going to go, but it's never going to get anywhere near $23,000. So the ability to help people with this opportunity and the ability to help people financially and with their health, my practice could never rival, or could my radio show, which is why I got rid of both to do this full time. And it's now 24/7, but I really want to get into why this was so powerful for me. Because, and I would use this analogy with patients when it would take talking about oxidative stress. Oxidative stress still to this day, even in 2019, is not something most people have heard, but they understand the principle. And I say, what do you think of when you hear the words oxidative stress? And most people would go oxygen or stress, one of the two. It's like, yes. Okay, let me ask you a question. What would happen if you took a fish and took it out of water and put it on the top of a table? Do you think it would undergo some oxidative stress? And you kind of watch them go, well, yeah. I said, but there's plenty of oxygen in the air for that fish to breathe. It's just the wrong delivery system. So how about you jump into a pool and go to the bottom and try to breathe. There's plenty of oxygen in that water. You just have the wrong delivery system. And so it's but we can fix that. Put some scuba tanks on your back and jump in the pool, jump in the river, jump in the lake, jump in the ocean, and you can breathe. It's just not as efficient. And then I would say that's the difference between supplementing and activating. It's the delivery system and efficiency. Why would you want to supplement something with good ingredients when you can activate your body's system that deals with oxidative stress rather than trying to supplement it from the outside and remedy something that is deficient? Why wouldn't you want to activate something that has gone dormant? And delivery system, once we understand what oxidative stress is, now it's a matter of helping that person understand, why would you want to breathe with a tank underwater when you can just breathe air? It's the most efficient way of getting oxygen. Well, Protandim Nrf2 is the most efficient way of getting oxygen to your cells in the least stressed environment. So people understood, and it was not a very difficult conversation to have with people, but it was are still waiting for the publications to come out, and they're coming. That's where and it's real science. So PubMed.gov is legit, guys. You may not understand it. It may be written in doctor speak, but it's legit. It's true science. And the best part about it, we're not doing our own studies. It's third-party initiated and third-party funding, which is massive. The biggest thing for me with this entire thing is helping people understand that when you have a world that needs the products that we have. 10 to 15 years ago, people were still using Encyclopedia Britannica to vet out information, and it would come out once a year. Now, when you're sharing information, like what we have, people, if they're not under the table Googling or vetting out what you're telling them real time on their cell phone, I'm a little concerned that they're a little behind the times. And that is where our company shines head and shoulders above every company. Is we're publicly traded, we're transparent, we're scientifically validated, finished product science, we're transparent. We have products like none other. Let me explain what I mean by that. So that's just who LifeVantage is as a company. We have relevant products at a relevant time when there's finished product science and here's the benefit. Here's the greatest thing. We have finished product science, but the overarching science validates our finished product science. If you just look up Nrf2, Nrf1, 99% of that is not LifeVantage studies or has anything to do with LifeVantage. It has everything to do with the understanding of the pathway. That is our secret recipe. We capture a scientific principle, we formulate a product that deals with it directly, and we make it available to average people so they can have extraordinary and above average results and share that with the world. No other company in the history of this industry has ever done anything remotely like that, which is why this is the only company I'll ever be a part of, but it's also the only company that could have changed my over decade long opinion of network marketing.